Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday or Friday Eve.
Oh, I like that.
I know, but it kind of loses some punch when you have to work Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, happy Thursday. I'm just kidding. It's awesome. Saturday we get to do a webinar on bugs and disease, but it's going to be good bugs and bad bugs. Mm-hmm. It's not really good disease. There isn't really a good disease. So bad disease, but good bugs and bad bugs. It's a topic I love. I know it's very helpful because a lot of people, they may know that plant is sick, but they don't know what the symptoms are. They don't know what it's telling them. So that's always good. And we always get something fun where we tell people about this is a good bug, and people don't realize, especially ones like spiders and centipedes. Or when we say ants aren't really a problem. We don't like them because they crawl on our feet or they steal our picnic. That's what cartoons have me believe. But ants aren't bad for the garden. Wasps, again. So anyway, that's Saturday, not today. Sun is shining. It's a beautiful day. I was leaving this morning, nice and early, and I was like, man, I'd rather go to like Nose Hill or go out to the mountains. It was too nice. And then Brandy posts a picture of her flying in a helicopter, and I'm like, oh, wonderful. I'll just drive to work like a
best view in the house.
Yeah, 100%. So we're going to keep talking about flowers. That's kind of what we've been on all week. What is a flower? The parts of the flower, pollination, and now it's deadheading, which it is part of the flower, not really, because we deadhead when the flower is finished. But the flower is the reason we deadhead, because the flower, if you remember what we've been talking about, is the reason why the seed gets fertilized. So when we talk about deadheading, very simply, again, the reasons why we do it, behind the science. So very simply, it's removing the dead flower. So on a plant like this, we look and we go, you know what, this flower, and if you look, you can see very small. They're not as clear as, say, on the lily, but you can see the stamens and pistils and whatnot. But if we look at this and we go, oh look, we've got some new blooms coming in. We've got one, it's still got a couple of days, and we've got one that's finished. Now you can absolutely leave the finished one. It is not going, if you like that color, okay, you're like, oh, that's still a shot of color. Leave it, if it makes you happy. However, removing it is going to increase the longevity and the size of the other blooms, might even force out an extra bloom or two. So if you like it because you remove that, there's not much else happening, you can leave it. If you are going to remove one like this, all I do is go down, I find a leaf, and I make a snip. And it's that easy. It's gone, that goes in the compost, don't need to worry about it. Now the reason I went right down the stem is you see people and they go right up behind the flower, and I just think that looks ugly, just a dead stem sticking out. So I remove the whole thing. Other times what you'll see people do is they'll break the flower head off. Sometimes though, the flower comes off and the seed pod doesn't. So we're deadheading for two reasons. One, we don't want the seed, and two, we want the plant to look better. We want the aesthetic, we want it to seem nicer. But the science behind why we are doing it is to encourage more blooms in annuals, and in perennials, it's to encourage more overall health. So in annuals, this annual, it's put out a ton of blooms, the blooms are finishing. So this annual has done what every plant is geared up to do, which is to propagate. It propagates, puts out all of its flowers, it gets fertilized, and it's like, great, I'm done. I can drop my seed and check out. We go, no, we're not going to let you do that, and we remove all of the seed pods, and it goes, fine. and it puts, I'm just assuming most annuals are teenagers. And it puts out more blooms. Again, all it's trying to do is propagate. All it wants to do, once that seed pod is healthy, cracked open and dropped its seed, boom, it's done. It'll check out. It'll obviously, you know, keep going a little bit. It's, you know, it's not sentient enough to have a timing. But once it hits a certain point, it's like, I don't need to do anything. And you can see again on this, we have flower buds, and we have dead flowers, and we have live flowers. So on this, you can absolutely take your pruners, go in, snip back, it's gone. You can see I got the whole thing, nothing to worry about. Or on ones like this, we got one here, I can reach, and I can just gently pull it out. However, this is a great example. You can see there,
Kind of.
okay, I got the flower, but if I tear this open, I should have brought my knife, I didn't get any receptacle or ovary. I didn't get any part of it. So now I look here to where I pulled it from, take my pruners and give it a snip, and that's what I left behind. So that would have developed a seed. It doesn't need the flower anymore. That fertilization happened. So when we're doing it, the purpose is we don't want the sugars and the energies and annuals going in to seeds. We want flowers. That's why we plant them. Or in the case of veggies, we don't deadhead, because then you're literally cutting off your tomato. Okay, so you have to kind of know the purpose behind it. Flowering, get rid of that seed pod. We don't want seeds, we want flowers. Veggies, leave the seed pod, otherwise you're really growing a very expensive, crappy yellow flower on your tomato. So you want to leave them on any of your fruit trees or any of your veggies. So that's how that works. And then again on a daylily. So what do we do on a stem? This one isn't as fun as the one we had yesterday.
No, that one was awesome.
So what do we do on a stem like this where, and I'll bring it a bit closer to the camera, you can see that we've got new buds, a live flower, and a deadhead all coming off the same stem. So we have a couple of options. We can leave it, eventually this whole stem will be dead and we can snip it then. Okay, no problem. But if you've got a number of daylilies, as this one matures, this puts out 50 blooms at a time, and 10 of them are dead. It kind of looks a little ratty, if I'm being honest. When you look at a large perennial border, one like this doesn't really stand out that much. But trust me, as somebody who's done a lot of landscaping, when you walk up and you've got 10 different types of perennials, they're all in their blooming phase, and 25% of them are deadheads, it takes away from the beauty of the flower, because your eye goes, oh, that doesn't look pretty. And that, maybe we're all cynics by nature, but that is kind of where, in the wild, in the forest, I find we go the other way. There's dead branches on trees, there's plants that have fallen over, there's all kinds of stuff, and you're like, oh my God, that's gorgeous. Oh, look at that bird. But in our sculpted gardens, we tend to have maybe a higher expectation. So we want that to be clean. So what you can do with this is just reach in, find where it meets, break it off, and again, it's really small. I'll come around here, and you can see, hopefully, I got the seed pod. See the swollen part?
Yeah.
Right where my fingers are? So if I can crush that, there we go. Got it.
Yeah.
Got the seed pod. We're moving it around. We've got I wish you guys could see our setup. I can't even take a picture because we're using my phone. But I managed to get the seed pod by breaking that off. So you're going to want to deadhead according to the type of plant. And like I said, not everything needs to be deadheaded. Now, to carry on with that, there's another one here, and I'm going to use this perennial as an example. And this is something done very rarely, but it does come into this category. And it's actually the exact opposite, which I know all sounds like a massive contradiction in terms, but bear with me. And it's called live heading. okay? And it's when you see a flower and it's coming out, and this one is dead, so I'm gonna cut it. But this is in full bloom, okay? This is a brand new hosta. This is 4 months old, maybe? I look at this and I don't see a pretty flower. I see something pulling away essential sugars from my perennial. So an annual, you don't live head. They've got a very short span, they grow quick, they put out the flowers, boom, no matter what, they're dead the moment the frost hits, they're dead in the winter. Fertilize them, enjoy them, have fun. But this perennial, I am going to get years and years of life out of it. So if I look and I go, wow, that's going to take a lot of sugar, I can just reach in and nip the live head off. So now this plant is like, oh my God, I lost my flowers. All of the energy, you're not even letting it spend any energy on developing a flower stem. You literally clean it off before it's even begun. The plant just goes, I now have to live. I have to live because I can't propagate, so that next year I can propagate. And the root system and the foliage really, happy throwback Thursday. Yeah. I need to wash my apron too.
There you go.
Covered in Jimmy hat. Little digression. But all of that energy that would go into producing this, which is a lot of energy, now goes directly into the perennials. Now, you absolutely do not have to do that. Depending on where you're at, if it's a brand new garden and it's only new perennials and you live head them all, that person, yourself or a client or whatever, now has to wait a whole nother season for some flowers. So maybe you leave them. Perennial will be fine. But if it's 1 or 2 perennials that you put in new into an existing perennial border and you want to give them a jump start, you want them to like, bam, power up so they fit in with all the mature ones, you can always just pop the live head off. So essentially, the reason we deadhead is to stop the seed, increase the health of the plant, and for the aesthetic reasons. But again, we asked this a while ago when we were talking about tomatoes, and we asked about, do you deadhead a tomato plant? And a scary percentage said yes. And I wonder if that has anything to do with people who are coming in, they're like, I've been growing my tomato, I haven't got one tomato this yet. And you're like, yeah, I think I see a problem. So you have to know what you're deadheading and why, and hopefully the science behind it. The fact that we know what we're doing helps you understand what needs to be deadheaded and what doesn't. And on plants like this, same thing. I've got a stem. I can clean that deadhead off, but that just looks ugly. You've got a dead stem sticking out. So I have 2 stems coming out. I have no other flower buds. I do a check. I come back to that leaf, I cut it, a much healthier looking cut. And now that looks nice, there's form, there's not a dead stem. That stem, there's no leaf, eventually it'll just turn brown, I'll have to double deadhead it. So different forms, different formats, and different purposes behind it. Are we looking for health, or do we want tomatoes? Are we live heading, are we deadheading? Hopefully that answers some of the question and some of the science. Have a great day, I hope you can get outside. SPF, UV, I think it's 6 today or 7. So watch what you're doing. Lots of water. Stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow for Hawaiian Shirts Friday. And then Saturday, last check, I think we'd had 65 or 70 tickets sold. So if you want to get into the bug seminar, lots of time to sign up, but don't wait too long. We'll see you all tomorrow. Bye, everyone.